Hello everyone, welcome to Novation. I'm Shantanu and today I'm really excited to discuss one of the most important and very relevant topic to present economic scenarios, and we are going to discuss what are the major steps taken by the Reserve Bank of India in order to revive the present economic conditions of India. As we know, due to the lockdown and the COVID-19 outbreak, various businesses and the economy as a whole has been badly impacted. So various announcements were done by RBI in the previous weeks and previous months. So it is really important to understand what are those major announcements and what are their implications to revive the economy. So without any further ado, let's jump into the session. So friends, before we begin discussing what were the announcements and what are the things that RBI has done, we will first of all understand a small economic cycle. So we'll start from here, the consumption. Friends, what happens when we buy things, we are not only using them. In business jargon we call that we are consuming it. If we are going to buy a car, we are going to purchase a TV or any electronic item, we are consuming things. We are going to the shop and purchasing them, we are consuming them. What happens is the inventory decline. The items in the shop which are kept as storage, they are declined as we purchase them. So what happens? The store owner will tell the factory that we want more production. So factory will start producing more. Okay, when consumption increases, the consumption of goods will increase, and the shopkeepers will say that we want more products. So industries will produce more. When industries expand their production, they will hire more people. There will be more jobs. When people will be employed, there will be greater income for a household. For example, say a father is working. Now, if his son also finds a job, then the household income will increase. Now, when the household income increases, their needs increases. People will want to buy more things. They want to live in luxury. So again, the consumption will again increase, and this cycle will go on. Consumption increase, inventory will decrease, production will increase, there will be more jobs, and there will be greater income. So this chain goes on continuously. Now, what role does Reserve Bank of India plays here? So this is a bank, and so what happens is banks, how do they get their liquidity? How do they get their cash? So banks take their cash in terms of loans from Reserve Bank of India. We can say that it is kind of loan from Reserve Bank of India. So they get money through Reserve Bank of India, and banks lend it to the industries or even various small scale individual customers also. So when they want to produce more, the factories want to produce more, they will need capital, and from where they are going to get this cash? They are going to get this cash from banks. So what will industries expect? Industries will want that they get the loans at cheaper rate. Interest rate should be lower and lower, so they will be able to easily get loan and also produce more. So that's how economy functions and an economy grows. Okay, now since the basic is very clear, this will come again and again when I'll explain you what are the various decisions taken by the RBI. So let's begin with the first most important decision. So in the most recent MPC, that is Monetary Policy Committee meeting, Reserve Bank of India decided that the repo rate and CRR are going to be slashed. So first of all, what is repo rate? We have discussed in our previous video on Reserve Bank of India, but let's go on it again in a very cursory manner. So repo rate is the rate at which the central bank lends money to commercial banks in the event of any shortfall of funds. And basically these funds which are provided, they are for short terms. So it's the rate at which RBI lends to commercial banks. Now what RBI decided was repo rate was slashed by 75 basis point and it was brought to 4.4%. This is the rate at which RBI is going to give short-term loans to the banks. Now since the banks are getting it at a lower rate, they are going to give their loan, they are going to lend at a lower rate. I hope this is clear. So the repo rate has thus fallen to the lowest ever. So this is the lowest ever repo rate. Earlier it was 5.15%. Now this is 4.4%. Friends, why this is decreased? We will discuss this in a second after discussing CRR. Okay. So what is CRR? We all know it. It is the fixed percent of banks NDTL which it must park with Reserve Bank of India. NDTL is net demand and time liabilities. So these are the total deposits with the bank and they are divided into two types. First is demand deposit and second is time deposit. Demand deposits are they can be withdrawn by the customer at any point of time from ATMs or through check, and time deposits, they are basically some kind of FD or other instruments in which your money is fixed for a period of time. So every bank is required to keep a percentage of their NDTL with Reserve Bank of India. And what was decided on March 28 was that this CRR was reduced by 100 basis point. It means 1% decrement. And here 75 basis point means 0.75% decrement. And it was brought to 3% with effect from March 28. Now friends, one question arises: why high CRR is bad for a commercial bank? Friends, what happens is, if the CRR is high, banks will have to park a higher amount of their NDTL with the Reserve Bank of India, and over and above that, Reserve Bank of India is not going to give any interest to commercial banks on CRR, that is the reserve which they keep with the Reserve Bank of India. So it's quite hurtful to the bank. Now, what are the implications of these two decisions, that is decrement in CRR and also repo rate? Now, since the repo rate has decreased and CRR has also been decreased, the banks will be providing cheaper loans to the industries. Now, since these industries are able to get loans easily, they will of course will want to take the loans frequently, and if they are going to take loans, what they will do, they will use it for their production facilities. The industries will start producing more. Now, once they are producing more, they will need more and more people, they will hire more, again income will increase, and similarly this will lead to an increase in the consumption, and again economy will pick up. The economic activity will start increasing when the banks will give cheaper loans to the industry, so that their production increases, they hire more, then people will consume more. So this is the main implication of reducing the repo rate, so that a thrust can be provided to the economic activity which has been slowed down due to lockdown in our country. I hope this is clear. Let's move to the second decision. The next decision which was taken by RBI was a slashing of reverse repo rate. Now, what is this reverse repo rate? Friends, we know what is repo rate. It is the rate at which bank gives loans to the commercial banks. So the opposite of repo rate is reverse repo rate. It is the rate at which commercial banks in India park their excess money with RBI, usually for short term. And on this parked money, RBI is going to give them an interest, and that is reverse repo rate. So this is the interest which commercial banks get. Now, what is happening is that reverse repo rate has been slashed by 25 basis point. That means 0.25% of decrement in reverse repo rate. Now it stands at 3.75%. Now, since the interest on the money which bank are going to deposit with RBI has decreased, what will happen is banks won't want to give their money to Reserve Bank of India because they are not getting enough interest. So this will make less attractive for commercial banks to park cash with the central bank. Since this investment, that is parking the cash with Reserve Bank of India, is not going to give them higher returns, they won't want to give it. They will try to give it to some other parties or give loans to others so that they can have higher returns on it. Okay, so this is the reason why reverse repo rate was decreased. The next and the third most important decision taken by Reserve Bank of India is TLTRO 2.0. So it's a new acronym, but I'm sure you will understand it easily. So TLTRO stands for Targeted Long-Term Repo Operations. So what does it mean basically? So friends, TLTRO, it's a kind of a tool with RBI through which it provides long-term loans to commercial banks. Earlier when we were discussing repo rate, I told you that RBI generally provides short-term loans at repo rate. But here RBI has decided to give long-term loans to commercial bank, that is from 1 to 3 year at repo rate only. So even at 4.4%, commercial banks are getting long-term loans as well. So this is kind of another huge decision taken in order to provide liquidity to the market, because banks are now getting even long-term loans at repo rate only. Okay, so RBI is offering around rupees 50,000 crore through LTRO. And friends, very important thing is half of this amount will be set aside for small and medium sized NBFC and microfinance institutions. So 50,000 crore में से 50% यानी कि 25,000 crore will be set aside for NBFC and MFIs, that is microfinance institution. So you'll ask, what are these NBFCs? Friends, NBFCs are non-banking financial companies, and the major difference between NBFC and a bank is that NBFCs are not allowed to take demand deposits. So the deposit we do in our banks, which we can take out anytime, we are not allowed to do it with NBFCs. Friend, NBFCs are very, very important for our Indian economy. They complement the banking system by providing easy credit to various medium and small enterprises. Even we as customers deal with them. For example, Mahindra Finance, Bajaj Finance. If we go for buying any kind of vehicle, it is much easier to take loan from a NBFC than from a bank, because the regulations of a bank are much higher and tighter than a NBFC. So NBFC play a very, very big role. We are going to discuss it in another video why they are very important. For now, you understand that around 25,000 crores are being set aside for NBFCs and MFIs. Next, this will help refinancing NBFCs and MFIs to maintain healthy cash flow to small and medium enterprises. As I told you, NBFCs majorly provide credit to medium and small enterprises. Friends, another important thing is that banks will get 45 days to invest the fund which they are going to procure under TLTRO, and they will have 45 days to invest these funds into these NBFCs and microfinance institutions. So I hope TLTRO is now clear to you. Let's move forward to the fourth decision. Next is rupees 50,000 crore refinance to NABARD, SIDBI and NHB. So what are these acronyms? We will see. So RBI Governor Mrs. Shaktikanta Das has announced that a capital support of rupees 50,000 crore for National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, Small Industries Development Bank of India and National Housing Bank. So from the name we can understand that these banks are going to provide loans and provide credit to agriculture and small industries and those industries which are into housing and infrastructure development. From the names and the acronyms we can understand it. And of the total budget of 50,000 crore for these refinancing of NABARD, SIDBI and NHB, 25,000 crore will go to NABARD, 15,000 crore to SIDBI. I hope it is clear, and the remaining amount, that is 10,000 crore, will go to NHB. I hope it is clear. And the interest rate for this finance facility will also be at repo rate, that is 4.4%. So you can understand at such a low rate they are getting the loans, that it will be very beneficial for all these institutions to procure loans from RBI. And friends, today a very important announcement came that all these three NABARD, SIDBI and NHB are ready to refinance NBFCs and MFIs. So the main target of RBI was to refinance the NBFCs only. So NABARD, SIDBI and NHB are ready to provide these funds to NBFCs so that the money can be directed towards small and medium businesses, and their health can also be looked after. Okay, so I hope this decision is also clear. Next is moratorium on EMIs for 3 months. Moratorium means pause. So for 3 months you're not required to pay any EMIs or any premium on your loans. So let's see one by one. So 3-month moratorium on loans by RBI means that borrowers can skip their monthly installment which are due from 1st March to 31st May. So for these 3 months, March, April and May, a person who is having a loan is not required to pay or is not bound to pay any EMI for these 3 months. So it's a big relief for someone who is on a who has taken a loan from any kind of institution but is severely hit due to lockdown. So it's a big relief for them. And these loans will include various loans like personal loan, home loan, education loan, working capital loan, credit card dues. So on all these things, these moratorium on EMIs are applicable. But friends, there is a catch. If you are not going to pay the premium or the loan EMI for these 3 months, its simple interest is going to be calculated and it will be added to your loan, and you will have to pay it after 3 months in any of your installment, or you can even increase your number of installment. So the wise decision will be that if you are having a continuous source of income, then it is advised that you pay the EMI in these months only, because your interest is anyway going to be added and you'll have to pay more on your loan. So even if there is a moratorium, you can voluntarily choose to pay the EMI. And the last and the final thing is that if you are not going to pay this EMI for 3 months, there will be no negative impact on your credit score, and it will not harm your credit profile, and you will be easily be able to take loans even after if you want more loans. So it will not going to have any negative impact on your credit rating. Okay, now let's move to the sixth and the final decision. So opening US dollar Indian rupee swap for 2 billion. So again, very important decision taken by RBI, and let's understand why it was taken and what it is actually. So what happened was that due to corona outbreak, most of the foreign institutional investors like that is FIIs, they were afraid of investing or having their money invested in developing economies. So what they did was they sold their financial securities and they took away their invested dollars. So what happened is that when they took out their dollar, the demand of dollar in the market increased, and then it led to a shortage of United States dollar, and they were dumping their assets and taking away dollar. So the currencies, various Asian currencies especially like Indian national rupee, became very weak against dollar, and rupee even reached 77.3 level against $1 in March 2020. So why it is bad if our currency is depreciating? Because for example, let's understand it with an example. If I import something, if I buy maybe silk from outside, then I'll have to pay more rupees for the same amount of dollar. Like if I'm paying 100 rupees for $1, I'll have to pay 110 rupees for $1 if my currency is depreciating. So it's very bad for our import industry. So RBI need to do something for it. So what RBI did, it opened the window to swap $2 billion. That is, it is going to provide banks with United States dollar 2 billion, and it will take up rupees. It will convert. So rupees will be taken away from the market. What it will do is the demand of the rupee will increase in the market, and rupee will start appreciating against United States dollar. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Now friends, RBI was having a forex reserve of around $487.24 billion. So that's the highest amount of reserves that we ever had. So RBI did not have any problem in swapping $2 billion. So we'll be left with around $485 billion after 2 billion have been swapped. So as I told you, RBI is going to auction 2 billion where banks can deposit Indian rupees with RBI and get USD for a price. So this is how they are going to swap rupees for USD, and this step is taken to stop the decline in Indian national rupee. So since rupees was depreciating, RBI created a demand for rupees and thus stopped the decline of rupee against USD. I hope this swapping and appreciating and depreciating of rupees is clear to you. If you have any doubt, please write to me in the comment section. I'll try to clarify it. Okay. So friends, we have reached to an end to this session. I hope you have learned something about the economy and how the things are evolving out, how RBI is trying to revive the economy, which has slowed down tremendously, and as per the estimates of World Bank and other institutions, the economy is going to grow by around 2.5%. So that's really less in comparison to what we were going through, and this is due to corona and lockdown. So these are all the steps taken by RBI. So I hope you liked the video. If you liked it and learned something, please go ahead and like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Novation for more awesome content. All the very best, and bye bye until next time.